Hi, hello friends. So it's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks, I think, since I posted my last diary. So we've been in this eclipse portal. We had a solar eclipse, and then it's been on the new moon, and then 2 weeks we've had a lunar eclipse on the new moon, which was this morning around 4 a.m. my time. 3 a.m. Pacific time, 6 a.m. Eastern. And I kept trying to go and edit videos and film stuff, and it was just like this pause, wait, see what shifts. So I've been taking in a lot of content, and this has been a Virgo eclipse, so it's like a really grounding in the details and day-to-day and routines and all that stuff, and investigating relationship to perfectionism and details and day-to-day and habit and what needs to change and what prevents you from, living the life you want to live. So that's our full moon Virgo eclipse. Don't mind if this is an awkward angle. One of the things I hate most about being in Calgary is that no matter how much water I drink and extra hydration and electrolytes and all that stuff, my lips and my skin are always dry. I've been trying not to name the city that I'm in, but here we go. I just did it. One of the things I hate about being in Alberta is that it's just dry here. I want to be by the ocean. But there's many good things that keep me here, like creative community and opportunities and a reputation and lots that I've built here that I need right now. And I'd rather finish what I started than go off somewhere new, which was a surprise to me. Although somewhere new wasn't somewhere old. I just went back to where I had been to try to finish that, and then I was like, I think you went too far back, Fox. Finish the most recent thing that you started. But yeah, I wanted to talk today. I finally figured out, now that we're past the two eclipses, and I know the effects of the eclipse will probably be lasting until the new moon, but something said wait till that shift. And for me, it's just this energetic shift. It's like all of a sudden I have this clarity of like, oh, this is how I go out and try to live my days, and these are the things I don't want to do anymore, and these are the things that I do want to do, and this is how I embrace being me. And yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna try to do this so you're not looking at my nose, but I don't have to hold my phone out far in front of me. Great, I'm still recording. Yeah, so anyways, I finally figured out, now that we're past the eclipse portal, that what I really want to talk to you all about is what led me to get my diagnosis. It's been coming up in different ways, but I was like, that's the missing piece of the puzzle that wants to come out right now. So I got my diagnosis at 37, and I guess I'd been relatively successful in life. I had a job where I was managing almost 100 employees, and I held that job for like 10 years. It wasn't always that many employees, and it was different levels of managing, and things shifted in terms of responsibilities and that. And I think I was successful in it. You don't normally have, front-facing customer service jobs where people are excited to come to work when they've had a bad day. But that was the comment I got from multiple staff, so I was good at it. I always struggled with the admin stuff, with the neurodivergence and stuff, and there's a lot of layers to that. But it also wasn't really fulfilling, and eventually it became time to leave. And when I left that, what I really needed was a break, because 30 plus years of autistic masking, I was burnt the fuck out. but I didn't know it was autism at the time, and I had a family doctor who'd known me since I was 12, and because I'd buried myself so deep in work, I had barely seen her for 10 years, and for 5+ years before that, I wasn't even in the city. So when I came back being like, I need support, I need help, I need to be on disability, I need a break, she just couldn't hear me, and I think to her I just looked like someone who wanted to game the system or something, and she treated me really poorly when I tried to open up about how dysregulated I was. And so I was without a doctor, and I didn't know what to do, and I made the decision to cut substances out of my life, which was cannabis, which was a lot of psychiatric medication from a false diagnosis that had been reassessed and undiagnosed, and go back to school and go to school for a job in the industry that I had wanted to work in since I was 18, but had been too afraid to move towards. And what I didn't expect when I went back to school is that I would meet every part of myself that got in my way. I didn't expect that I would find my spirituality, but I met people in my class who loved the things I had loved before I got really far away from myself, like talking about the esoteric and tarot and astrology and all that stuff, and I got really heavy into that, and that led me. I will tell the story better in full at some point, but it was the end of March or April. It was 2024. It was a solar eclipse. I was on the West Coast, and I went for a walk through old growth forest after meditation. And a friend who had passed away was all of a sudden walking with me. And I don't mean that I saw him walking with me. I mean that I started paying attention to the thoughts in my head. And I remembered his voice. And he'd been gone for at least 7 years at that point, and I'd forgotten what his voice sounded like. And I remembered his laugh. So I let myself have a conversation with him. I'd speak, and I would imagine what he would say back, and I let that be it. And I realized that last time I had let myself hope and dream and feel big, I scared myself. And that I'd shut myself down since then. And it had been over 10 years that I just didn't let myself feel. So I decided that I was older now and I could let myself feel big feelings. But I got so obsessed with not being the person I was last time I got big feelings, not getting obsessive and overthinking and putting myself aside, that I ended up creating the exact scenario, at least in my head, that I was trying to avoid. And it was all because I had felt ashamed for who I was. And trying to navigate that the best I could is a story for another time and probably another format. But ultimately, what it led to was this diagnosis, because I couldn't get away from myself. There were so many beautiful adventures contained within it. I took lots of photos, I filmed lots of videos. Things will be made with all of it at some point. Some things have been made, they will be shared. And what I know now that I didn't know then, what I know now that I was labeling as obsession and overthinking and all these things is that that is my brain. And that is part of the autistic experience. I process information really fast, and I process it consciously, and I process it more consciously than most people. And there are so many intersections of identity, of experience, of training. My first degree in theater that leads to this level of metacognition because my specialty is this crazy fucking exercise where you stand in front of an audience and you say a monologue, but then you also say all the things that's going on in your head, and then you say how you think you're reading the other people, and you pour that all into your experience. And so that is like, I have specialty training in metacognition, and I've been good at it since I learned it, and I've invested a lot of time, energy, and money into getting even better at it because it's actually my best tool for navigating life and understanding my experience and going through and accepting the really big feelings that I feel all the time. Getting involved in, I mean, you can call it mediumship, you can call it intuition, you can call it metaphysical, you can call it whatever you want. If you're a materialist, you don't think it's material, but I promise you I am seeing and thinking about these things in actually very material senses. What materialists would blame not material, I am actually conceptualizing in a pretty materialist way. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think I have the language to describe why it feels concrete to me, but it feels very concrete. So it could be that awesome ADHD pattern recognition. It could be an ability to take in all the data and see all the possible scenarios. But where it leads me with a disability is that, especially when I'm burnt out, I can't make the smart and healthy decisions for myself, for how to move forward with my life, or how to go about my day-to-day. While taking all of that in and not getting absolutely drained and exhausted. But I'm learning, and a big part of it is being like, okay, that's the thing. I see that that's the thing. And now I'm going to put it down because it's not mine to carry, and I have a whole life and a whole self to take care of here. But again, 3 decades of masking and not understanding my own experience, and then kind of pathologizing and making excuses and just trying not to be myself. It just led me in a really messy scenario, at least within my own head. And I kind of had a breakdown. But again, that led me to diagnosis, that led me to support. And now I actually have the things that I need in my life to build solid foundations. And I'm going to go back and try to do the thing I've always wanted to do in a much more supported way. And I'm really excited for that. And there's not much that can stop me at this point other than realizing, oh, maybe that's not actually my right path. But beyond that, I am a stubborn bitch that when I know what is the right direction, I will go. If it feels like the right path for many, many reasons, I will not be deterred, and I will show up and I'll be like, okay, why am I here? What's happening? Let's go. And that's the best version of myself. But yeah, I think there's a lot more lessons to unpack of what I learned kind of on that journey and what I'm learning now and where I'm getting at with all of it. But I would say that maybe one of the biggest factors that led to my burnout was an inability to read, understand, and decode like complex set of social dynamics while my entire life was shifting, I didn't realize, even though I knew for a long time that I was ready to not be in that job anymore, that had become my life and my community, and it was a huge loss, and a huge adjustment. And I always thought I was good with change, and it really destabilizes me. I'm conceptually good with change, but when you have a brain that is bad at filtering things, it can just be information overload to go through that much change. And it was a change of environment, it was a change of circumstances, it was all new people, and yeah, I latched on to the one person who felt safe, and I really could have used them to give me less back, because that was never their job, and they just didn't have the time or the space to try. And so and then there was a really, really important conversation I needed to have, so I knew that I felt safe and understood and didn't get myself worked up or other people worked up. Anyways, yeah, just like a conversation I really needed to have to be able to, or I thought I really needed to have to be able to navigate social dynamics that were confusing to me. And the person left me thinking it was coming, but was never able to provide that conversation. And that was really hard. I really would have preferred I'm not going to have time, and I also don't think this is appropriate. That would have been so much easier for me. And I also am so glad that it never came, because I don't think I would have known what I know about myself had it been easy. I really can't wait to share with you what I learned. I learned so much. Because I can come on here and talk to things like this, and because I can have honest face-to-face with conversations with people, and part of that's my acting training, part of that is the way I was raised, part of that is just who I am, part of that is an autistic obsession with social interactions and dynamics and never being able to figure them out, so putting a lot of time and energy into looking at them and figuring it out my whole life. So yeah, I really want, but oh yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to say. So I think people look at me and do not understand how I have a social deficit, and yet within my assessment, the social things were the most severe deficits. And it doesn't look that way to other people, but it absolutely rings true to my experience. I didn't even know my first boyfriend when I was 12, 13, 14. I didn't know he was my boyfriend until he broke up with me. I thought he was asking me to go snowboarding and smoke weed with him. And we never smoked weed. And then he probably broke up with me because we never made out. But I didn't even know that's what was going on. My next boyfriend, I knew explicitly he was my boyfriend. And I didn't know how to do anything more than hug him, which is that's probably appropriate for 14. But man, does anyone remember the movie The Count of Monte Cristo and how it was 3 hours long? Yeah, I went to see that with him, and he spent the whole time staring at me, and I just kept my face on the screen because I didn't know what to do, but I felt awkward, and he was just waiting for me to look over so he could try to kiss me. I have done shitty things to other women because I believe they're partners when they said the relationship was over and it wasn't. That started in high school. I I spent months thinking I was dating a friend of mine, only to realize that we were just friends when they explicitly had the conversation. I had one partner, because I exist within realms of polyamory, so it's like dating multiple people at once, which I'll break down at some point. And I had one partner who was like a comet. It took 5 years to make out, and they thought I was asexual, and I just didn't know how to move the relationship forward because I thought they were super hot, and I got awkward. And I couldn't read if they were interested in me or not. I wound up in situations when I was in my like early 20s where I would be like, okay, I know we're naked and in bed together, but like, is this a sexy thing, or are we just like platonically naked in bed together? One time, like, had this thing with a girl where we showed each other our boobs, and then she invited me to come back and stay in her bed, and like 3 weeks later I was like, oh, that's what that was. That's what that was. At the time I was like, no, I'll just go look at the stars. Like when I say I can't read social dynamics, I can't read social dynamics. I can read all the fucking possible social things that might be happening, but I can't put my finger on what is actually going on. I have had friendships that I was certain were friendships, and the person was interested in me the whole time, and I've had years long thinking that somebody was interested in me and just didn't know how to say it, and it had been like siblings to them the entire time. Like I'm really trying to highlight the extremes here, you know, and I can't tell anymore. I've had so many experiences where people were nice to my face only to find out like they didn't want me around at all. And I've had so many experiences where I thought people were really mean to me and didn't want me around, and they like really wanted me around, and I had completely misread things. I've had all of it. I've had the full range of human experience. And I have good pattern recognition, and there is no discernible pattern that helps me figure out what is actually going on at the moment unless people are very direct with me. I've had people look at conversations between me and other people and be like, you're involved in an emotional affair. And I'm like, what? No. What? Like, I don't know. Like, I also throw in, like, I mentioned polyamory, but it's like the closest label for me is that I'm a relationship anarchist, because it actually doesn't matter at all for me about the number of partners. I do better with less partners because I just hyper focus, and I'm a ride or die, and I need safe people around me. So I'm not like a need 10 million partners type of person. I am slutty in theory, but not in practice. Go sluts. If you're slutty, slut it up. Enjoy. I don't function that way because I need a higher level of safety to be satisfied. Because my body and sensations are intense. And to let yourself go and experience that intensity requires a lot of trust. You'd have fun playing with people, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, I'm getting too into the weeds here. Yeah, I don't know. Like just I'm feeling called to say it, so I'll say it. But because I think as an autistic person, it's important to talk about these things. I think we get pushed into feeling like we shouldn't. But like, just straight up sex is so easy for me. Like, that doesn't feel like intimacy. For me, intimacy feels like actually sharing who I am with another person, having deep conversations, being known, and finding out how to encourage and support each other and just be like, be yourself. Like, that's intimacy for me. And I go there way too fast with too many people because I don't know where I'm supposed to do that and not supposed to do it. And I believe in that as a mode of being. So you come back to like the like, I've existed in queer spaces, I've existed in kink spaces, I've existed in polyamorous spaces, I've existed in artist spaces, I've existed in spiritual spaces, like you name the alternative culture, I've been in it. I have no roadmap anymore for how things are, how, like, I didn't have a good one to begin with, and I've broadened my range of experience. Like, I could start telling you about all the conservative cultures I've existed within too. I grew up in Alberta with family that are farmers from small towns and everywhere. I've been in recovery rooms, I've been in I've been everywhere. There's not, yeah, friends of different cultures, like, there are not many places I haven't existed. It's cool that there's not many rooms that I don't get accepted into initially, which I think is a masking thing, right? Being so good at masking with the autism, that I can fit in anywhere initially, but it's really hard for me to feel comfortable anywhere long term. Like, I'm 37 and I'm finally starting to feel comfortable around my extended family. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time with them in my adulthood because my life has taken me elsewhere and lots of family dynamic stuff, but like, I'm finally starting to feel comfortable. It's been 37 years. Feeling comfortable in spaces long term is really hard for me. Feeling accepted initially is great, but like, functioning and continuing to move through spaces is hard. It's been really hard since my grandparents have died. I just put that together now. But I think my grandparents used to make me feel really safe. So all the way back, relationship anarchy is a way of existing that says we don't make assumptions about the rules of the relationship. We communicate openly and directly and are explicit about how we want to engage, and we keep that communication going and ongoing. And also, for me, like, love is about non-possessive love. It's like, if you want me, you keep coming back to me, and we trust and we do that dance. Yeah, so to try to step into any place with established rules and norms and know what to do and how to behave, given all those various intersections of identity, is almost impossible. And I know how to do it in a way that isolates me. And I don't want that, you know? I'm really good at all the ways that it isolates me. And so now my adventure is to learn how to exist with people in ways that there can be closeness, connection, and support, and mutual support. One of the ways I was really good at isolating myself was trying to support everybody else around me, and not letting myself be supported, and not showing my own vulnerability, or like showing my own vulnerability, but in a really like controlled, I'm okay way, even when I wasn't. That was one of the lessons I had to learn. And I guess to wrap this all up, to bring it back, we've just hit this Virgo lunar eclipse, full moon. It's on this Virgo Pisces axis, which is my south node, north node axis. And for me, that means having a really solid, grounded starting point is my way for that I can go and let go and flow. And not in it, like my learning is to not get caught up in the details, to not get sidetracked, to not get distracted. Are we seeing any similarities to ADHD here? I sure am. And to let go and flow with life, but know that that foundation of detail, support, and planning is my safe space. So there we go. other things I've learned about myself. I am both soft and spicy. I am both easy and needy going. I am both needy and easygoing, but I think I'm needy going is my new word. I have a lot of patience until I don't. And I'm learning more and more how not to let my empathy and understanding of what others might be going through block my ability from focusing on myself and what I need and making sure I'm taken care of, so I can also, so I can show up my best and do my role, and so that everything can move without me trying to take responsibility for the wrong people. And so I can do my part in the community and not feel bigger or smaller than others, more worthy or less worthy than others, just that I have a role to play and to play it to its fullest. I hope my audio isn't terrible on this, because I think the headphones I took off might still be connected. Eek. Technical difficulties. And I think this comes back to autism. It also comes to my my astrological chart has a lot of it. But this ADHD thing and choosing to exist authentically and openly and unmasked, like, I really got to accept that I am not going to be for everyone, and I'm a bit of disorder. I was listening to that song today, and I'm going to cut it in at the end for as long as I'm allowed. I'm going to destabilize things sometimes, just through the nature of being me and existing a little bit differently and a little more authentically and defying expectations. And I think a big part of my learning lessons was how to hold that and move through all of it. So I'm starting to see the structure of the day-to-day and how to move in ways that feel good to me. And it's okay, that I recorded a bunch of videos for a few weeks that I haven't been able to use the footage of, because that was a past version of myself and this is a new version of myself, and I might have had some good things to say there, but energies shift and change, and I don't need to hold on to what was to try to prove that it was worth something. I get so much out of this, just talking to a camera, and that whatever gets shared is worth it, and what doesn't will either get deleted or saved for some other purpose. So this thing that's happening right now, where it feels like it's going to end but it's not ending, is me not wanting to transition from doing this, but I can, and I will, and I gotta trust that I've said and done enough. So here's me unmasked. I might even do something radical and just post this unedited, and then maybe do some edits to make shorter reels to try to bring people to the longer video. Who knows? Okay, I love you all so much. Bye.